Maggie, recording from the beach, my Q&A for Small Business Sisterhood. The question last week was how to change the patterns of punctuality after becoming aware that this is an issue and like wanting to become a more punctual person. And the member that asked this knows me personally and knows that I've struggled with punctuality in my life and gotten a lot better with it over the years. So here's my short video tidbits. Also, this is the last time I record at the beach or outside without bringing my tripod, so sorry if this is a little bit shaky. But punctuality, I am by no means perfect with this. I bet if you ask my husband if I was a punctual person, he would still absolutely say no. And so that is like my number one bit of advice is progress, not perfection, I guess. I just think that the idea that you can change from being a not punctual person to a punctual person overnight is impossible, and what kind of like always keeps us late. It's sort of like, well, if I'm already gonna be late, I might as well kind of like lean into it or be a little bit later. And so progress, not perfection. Begin making the choice to become a more punctual person. And I think some of the biggest things that helped me was like finally deciding, like really deciding and making it one of my priorities I think I made it a priority for the week, the month, and it was like, and treated it as an experiment. Like, what if I could be early to, I don't think I said everything. I really don't like the black and whites or like the be all end all. I think that creates a lot of opportunities for us to fail. But I believe it was like, could I be early to 2 things a day was my first experiment that I really ran with myself. And so I would make sure that the night before I looked at my schedule, I looked at my plan, and I picked 2 things on there, whether it was a doctor's appointment, dropping my kid off at school, a meeting, waking up with my alarm. There are so many opportunities every day to be early or be on time. And so I made it a priority to be early to 2 things a day. And also with it being an experiment. So there was also like this awareness around it that I didn't necessarily need to be perfect at it. And I could see if I wasn't early for these things and like where I fell short. And it gave me like very specific places in my life to look at like what I chose, like the choices I made to be late. Because for me, my lack of punctuality, my lateness stems from trying to get too much done. So it does not stem from being lazy. Like it stems from ADHD, honestly, and like time blindness, like looking at the clock, seeing that it's, I have a doctor's appointment at 9 and it's 8:45 and it takes 15 minutes to get there. And so like in my head, I'm like, well, I can get there in 13 minutes, so I might as well do this 2-minute task. And like that optimism is just what like ultimately always made me late for things, was that optimism and time blindness. So starting to become really aware of that. The other thing, so awareness is huge, being aware of your patterns and what you do. And so another big part of punctuality is figuring out what you are going to say no to in order to create more space to be early and on time for things. So like if you're looking at your schedule, you might say like, I'm not going to take that call before I leave, or I'm not going to do that load of laundry. I'm not going to do that until I get back today, or I'm not going to start cleaning the house until I get home, so that you don't get into something, don't get like focused on a task before having to be punctual to something. Another huge part of it, and this is where like it might be triggering, and it still is kind of triggering for me, that like I had to really come to terms with that being late for someone or something was being disrespectful. It hurts me to say that, because by no way, shape, or form was I intentionally being disrespectful by being late. I didn't make the choice to disrespect someone, but I had to understand that every time that I was late for something, that I was really hurting that person that was there on time, that was early, that was respecting my time, that was waiting for me, that was feeling like they were disrespected or their time was wasted. It didn't matter what my intentions were. It was my actions that were speaking on my behalf. And so that is really where I had to come to terms with that like I was being disrespectful by being late. And so in doing so, I had to start really apologizing to people from a genuine place, not just like, oh, sorry, I'm late. It was like really coming from a place of like genuinely being sorry that I wasted their time. And the problem is there's tons of people that don't feel disrespected when you're late. Not tons, but there's some, and those people are the ones that'll kind of like keep you being late. So those are not the norm. The norm is the people that are on time, that are waiting for you, that are feeling disrespected. Another big thing that I did that is also in James Clear's Atomic Habits, or it might be in the book Indistractable, but it's really putting your money where your mouth is. So if you are genuinely concerned and wanting to fix your punctuality, you pay people when you're late. So I did this when I owned my company. If I said that I was going to be on time for a meeting, so if I was supposed to be there at 9, I told everyone that I would give them $20 if I wasn't there at 9. And so what would happen is I would get there on time, because I was making a bet that was not great. You know, if I was late, I was going to lose sometimes hundreds of dollars. And so I was on time. I didn't want to lose that money. There were times that I was late and I had to fork it over and pay up. And you have to make sure that even if you're a minute late and those people don't hold you accountable, you hold yourself accountable and you pay up. And so this can be it can be drastic if it's one person. You're meeting your boyfriend and you know that he really doesn't want you to be late. You say, I will be on time, or I will give you $100, or I will pay for the date. And you'd be surprised that when you have those sort of stakes, it actually makes it way easier to be punctual. And so that's sort of a life hack around being punctual. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Definitely progress, not perfection. I cannot claim to be speaking from a place of perfection, but I can claim to be speaking from a place of someone who was chronically late for everything to someone who is occasionally early, on time, way, way, way more, and genuinely sorry when I'm late for something. So that's the shift that's happened for me. Chronically late to everything, didn't give a fuck, to occasionally early, often on time, and if I'm a couple minutes late, I'm genuinely sorry for wasting the other person's time. And I think that they can feel that versus someone who just shows up and is just like, sorry I'm late, let's go, it's just me. So you really, the shift comes when you stop making excuses for yourself, but also progress, not perfection, little mini experiments. I love you. You got this. I am here for you along the journey. And as I get better at this, I'm considering creating some sort of mini course or something around this. But if you need accountability with this, shoot me a message, info@scattered2simple. I am here to help. And yeah, I'll have more resources on this soon. In the Small Business Sisterhood, reach out to me anytime, place, anywhere if you want some guidance, personalized guidance on how to be on time. So awareness, like not making excuses, knowing that you are disrespecting people by being late, creating these mini experiments, what you're going to be early to, maybe 2 times a day, and actually showing up for those things, creating high stakes, paying people when you're late so that you don't do it again. And also, what are you going to say no to so that you can say yes to being on time?